All right, I am back with This Week at Tassi, my weekly news roundup. I'm going to give it about 3 comments before someone makes fun of my sweatshirt, but whatever. The 3 biggest stories of the week are obviously the 3 new games that have come out pretty much within 36 hours of each other. At the time I'm recording this, PoE 2 is still not online. That comes out at like 2, and God only knows what servers are going to do there. But we will start with the one that came out first. That is Marvel Rivals from NetEase, the Marvel hero shooter that is quote-unquote an Overwatch clone, and, you know, it kind of is, as I play each new hero, and I'm like, oh, this is Tracer, oh, this is Lucio, oh, this is Zenyatta, oh, this is Junkrat. Like, you can, you know, equate those certainly, but I'm not going to hold that against it. All games are iterative, and if, you know, they're not stealing code or whatever, it's fine. And this is proving to be better than Overwatch, I would say, at least as many would say in its current state. I'm not an active Overwatch player. I did play a couple years back, and I really, really did like it a lot at launch. Things have obviously changed a lot, but Marvel Rivals is kind of the new kid on the block and proving that the idea of a hero shooter is not dead when your hero shooter is A, really good, and B, has 33 very famous Marvel heroes and villains rendered in an amazing art style. And the game is fun too. I've been playing a good amount across console and PC since it launched last night. Even then, I've still only really played, I don't know, like 12 characters, like not really that many characters at all. Already I'm kind of gravitating toward a few favorites. My favorite tank is definitely Magneto so far. Venom is obviously a really popular choice for a tank and is annoying as shit to kill, so I've used him a few times too. In terms of Duelist, a role I am largely bad at, given that I'm too squishy and I'm not that good at shooters anymore. I really like Star-Lord, who is essentially Tracer, but better. Big damage, crazy mobility, some of the best mobility in the game among duelists. And the other ones that have really great mobility are melee heroes like Black Panther and Wolverine and stuff, and Iron Fist, whereas this has crazy mobility with also super powerful guns. He's pretty much just zipping around the map. He has a reload dodge like a hunter. He's got a jetpack with essentially no cooldown. He's got an AoE, demon hunter move where he spins around and shoots a bunch of things. Really, really good. In terms of, I'll go back to Magneto and why I like him. He's all about providing shields to everyone. You can provide shield to yourself, to a specific ally at a time, and then you have kind of a Reinhardt big shield. But also he does pretty solid damage. He does bigger damage the further you are away, and then he can kind of build up a super spear move if you've absorbed enough damage with shields. And then he has this ultimate that I keep flubbing. I'm not exactly sure why I'm flubbing it. I was fine on console. I can't do it on PC very well. This is my Magneto gameplay you're watching, obviously. He creates a bunch of metal in a ball and then throws it at people like an AoE nuke. So he's pretty good damage for a tank, and he's also pretty tanky and can make your team pretty tanky. Obviously no heals in there, but that is for the final class heals. A lot of good options in here. I think my favorite might be, it's either Mantis or Loki. Loki's really interesting in terms of his kit because you can make all these different clones, and then you can both heal your teammates by shooting them, but also create healing zones wherever the clones are. And I think one goes around you too, so he's really neat. He's really annoying to try to kill. I would say the more basic side of healing that I like is Mantis, where you just shoot things, or over time you get, I don't know, life seeds, I forget what they're called, but then you can use them individually to heal on enemies for chunks at a time, or boost their damage, or heal your... Well, no, you can't heal yourself, I don't think. You get AoE, or you get heal over time, I think, at baseline. And then you can also boost your own damage. Her ult, I believe, is some sort of Zenyatta mass healing invulnerability circle thing. Actually, I don't know if you're invulnerable, but I think you are. It's pretty much Zenyatta. And I've enjoyed playing with her. I know a really big pick that people like is Cloak and Dagger. Really, really creative kit there, switching between the two characters. She's really good. She and he. I played them a few times, and very good. I just got I got to get a little bit more mastery in there before I'm kind of a Cloak and Dagger expert. But she's less straightforward than Mantis, shall we say. The maps aren't like anything crazy. I do like destructible environments. There's some ultimates that are kind of cool. Like Storm's ultimate is a big tornado that like anything destructible, it'll just blow through. So things like that are pretty cool. It's 6v6. One issue can be kind of role queue where everyone's always locking in 4 duelist heroes, like surprise, surprise. I don't know. It hasn't been terrible. It is very annoying when no one is a healer and like you just essentially auto lose. And so I find myself switching to healer half the time. They have made some of the healers fun, like Loki and Cloak and Dagger and stuff. So and Jeff, people like Jeff. I haven't played Jeff yet. So it's not as big of a problem. Like I've never been like crazily furious at my teammates for like totally picking the wrong roles, and it's been fine. I'm not amazing. I've gotten 1 MVP trophy, and that was with Star-Lord. I do think I usually do pretty well with Magneto. I think I did pretty well in this game. And yeah, it's really good. I think it's going to be a significant hit. And I really do think Overwatch should be concerned. I wrote an article about this today. It's not exactly in the best state as it is in terms of, going into year 7 here, but it's an important Blizzard IP, and it is very, very easy to see how this game is going to carve out a chunk of its player base. I do think this has long-term potential. I do not think I'm overstating that. I guess we'll see in a little while, but, had a 450,000 concurrent Steam debut. Really solid. Good start there, and if word of mouth spreads, it'll go higher than that. Other big launch next up is Path of Exile 2. In at least my Twitter circle here, that is certainly the one people are talking about the most and talking about committing to that for the foreseeable future. As this RPG that's been, what was the last one, like 14 years ago, 11 years ago, something like that. And obviously PoE is involved over time, but it's sort of held up as this like gold standard of like harder core ARPGs for many people, whereas like Diablo's sort of become a more casualified version. That launches at 2 p.m. Eastern today. They have already said, we apologize for the servers before this has even started. One miraculous thing related to this with Marvel Rivals, no server issues, no queues, no disconnects, no latency. Like instant finding of matches. Crazy for an online game launch, especially one that obviously had that many concurrent players. I've almost never seen anything like that. Not a single problem with connectivity. Path of Exile is like, we're going to have problems with connectivity. So, sorry. I've only played a little bit of Path of Exile, maybe like, 50 hours like years ago. And I don't know. I personally liked Diablo more, but it was also sort of hard to like jump into that game having like no real experience and kind of just freestyling your way through it. And, I saw what people liked about it, but ultimately, other things kind of caught my attention. I am diving into Path of Exile from the ground floor here, and giving it a real shot. I have every reason to believe it's going to be extremely good. And I'm looking forward to kind of learning more about it. If I make Path of Exile videos, hopefully you could understand I'm coming at it from the perspective of someone who hasn't played Path of Exile in like 8 years. So that'll be fun to cover to some extent, and I'm excited to get that going. The third game is a bit of a surprise in that it is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, which it's like early access today, and then it officially launches Monday. It's got really good reviews, not like a 90, but like 86, 87, I think was the last time I looked. Very, very solid. Something, Xbox needs a win like that. I think they are more than happy with this reception. Wild range of opinions, though, despite that score. I have seen many people say, like, instantly it's their game of the year. And I'm like, what? Ironically, this game is not eligible for the Game Awards because it's too late. That's kind of stunning to me. That's very cool. And just to note, I have not played this. I didn't request a review code. Even if I got one, I would not have had time to play it in the last like 5 days. And then other people like really kind of being down on it. Kind of funny games. I was like really not on board with it. I think Gene Park was like so on it. I don't know where I'll come down on this. I obviously need to play first, but I wasn't wild about the Wolfenstein games. And I beat the first one. The second one, it just, I don't know. It didn't click with me. And it was just never really my favorite style of shooter. This has also been compared to Dishonored a lot, a series I do like more, so that is promising. I guess Indy does not have any magic superpowers, but it seems that there's going to be some connective tissue there. it's going to be hard to juggle these. I guess I'll get to my plan at the end here. But one more news item that is disconnected from these is early this morning, Ubisoft's stock was halted in terms of trading after going up 8% on talks about a potential acquisition. This has kind of happened a few times to some extent, but last time they were talking about like taking it private. This time, I guess the idea is that the Guillemot, is that what they're called? The Guillemot family wants to retain control, but they still want to sell. And it's like, is that going to fix any problems? And like this caps off, an all-time terrible year for Ubisoft in many, many ways. I've written about this, and like it's one thing after another. The Star Wars Outlaws was not received all that well, to the point where they're like patching in, hey, we're changing all of our combat from like in dramatic ways to get people to show up again. They delayed Assassin's Creed Shadows into the new year. Should have been a huge holiday game for them. Most recently, they announced they are shutting down X Defiant, their multiplayer shooter that was like supposed to be what all the hardcore shooter Call of Duty people wanted, with dedicated servers and skill-based matchmaking and all this stuff, and it didn't work. Like reports were that it was down to like 20,000 concurrent players on all platforms. It's shutting down in the summer. They said as recently as 2 months ago it wasn't shutting down, which either something changed or the game director's lying. I don't know. But it's certainly not a good situation, and it's just been hit after hit after hit for Ubisoft, whose market cap is like crazy low. I don't remember what it is right now. It's like 3 to 6 billion. And like, remember, all of Bungie was bought for 3.5 billion, and Activision Blizzard was 69 billion. So like, it seems like a good target for acquisition because you get so many IPs. Like, not that you need to still be developing, all of them, but Ubisoft, for all their problems, has access to like a really, really wide range of IPs at this point, like almost a comical amount, in the sense that like they can't really keep up with them all. And when they do, they're not always making great games out of it. So really curious to see what happens with that. It does not seem like Ubisoft can continue on in its current state, whether that's going private or selling or whatever. If the core family retains control, I don't know. That doesn't sound like it's going to solve problems if they're the ones, kind of guiding these bad decisions, but who knows? So in terms of how I'm going to be juggling things, I'm essentially playing Marvel Rivals until the Path of Exile servers go live. As much as I really do think Marvel Rivals is a good game, it is also fundamentally, a 6v6 online-only multiplayer shooter, where I'm just not a PvP person anymore. Not really, especially if I'm, playing by myself. And I have a couple friends that are going to play Marvel Rivals, so I'll team up with them sometimes. But generally speaking, like, I do fade from those games, and I know that it's not going to be a reflection on the game. And because, Path of Exile 2 is coming out, and I love ARPGs, and I'm really eager to dive into that, and I know that it's going to take dozens and dozens of hours to, not just get through the campaign, but like do your builds, like, and it's more involved than Diablo. And as a result from all of this, Indiana Jones is probably going to be put on the back burner indefinitely. Like, yeah, I guess I should play it for my game of the year list. I don't know, man. I'm good. Like, I got to prioritize, and like, I don't have time to do everything all at once anymore. So I got to pick and choose. And unless I dramatically hate Path of Exile, which seems unlikely, I will be picking that. Maybe I'll play some Marvel Rivals when I feel like it, but it's definitely going to be Path of Exile when the servers actually are functional, and we will see how close to 2 p.m. Eastern that happens. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.